everyone. Happy Friday night. I promised I would do another video. The day has been a little bit mentally intense. I have been deep into data and just doing a lot of stuff all day. So I decided to pull myself out and come out and talk about the thing that I mentioned I was going to talk about today, which is, well, last week I had talked about visualization and how visualization and asking for what you want is something that it's a practice that I'm really trying to actively master, but also doing it in a form of gratitude. So being grateful for having already received it. And it's a practice. It really is a practice. And so I had challenged people to try 7 days of visualization, and I don't know if anyone's actually done that. But in the comments, if you have and you saw the video last week, just write down that you have. Also let me know if you're watching this live or in the replay. But what I wanted to hi Giuseppe. What I wanted to talk about was actually a book. I have a couple books actually, but there's one book that I read about 3 years ago, and I was trying to remember how I actually found this book. I don't remember if it was something that popped up on Facebook or if it's something that popped up in a Amazon feed or something like that. But I ordered the book, and I remember reading this book within like 2 days or 2 nights or something like that. And for those of you that, you know, know what it's like to read a book in bed, I tend to fall asleep. So the fact that I finished it when I did was pretty darn amazing. So I'm gonna put my glasses on because I can't read some of the stuff without them now. But the book is called E Squared, and I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's by a woman named Pam Grout. Pam Grout is actually from Kansas. Where does she live in Kansas? I think she lives in the town where KU is, which is where my brother and sister went to school. But this book is all about, it's experiments that prove that your thoughts create your reality. And she's a really down-to-earth, really funny kind of writer. She's a travel writer. She's written for all kinds of magazines. But what she does is she breaks down the art of thinking and creating your reality into experiments. And it's really fun. So, you know, one of them is around, you know, deciding that you're going to see butterflies, or deciding you're going to see a purple Volkswagen. She names them. So, you know, she's named the universe the FP. So the field of infinite potentiality, which I truly believe it is. I've read this book about 3 times. I'm rereading it again now because I actually think that it's something that needs to be really immersed in the brain and really practiced. I've given it to my son to read to himself at night, but it's not quite happening. But it you know, what it does talk about is how we are all a field of energy, how our thoughts create our reality, and I think it's so important for all of us to realize that. And, you know, many of us are on a journey in life, and we're all learning and growing, and we have all different experiences, and we have different challenges that come in our life. But the one thing she says here is we use language in our head where it's historic patterns. So we learn that we create things in our head saying, well, that can't change, or that's going to be really, really hard to change. But actually the universe can change it like that if you believe that it can happen quickly. Yet again, it's a practice. You have to retrain your brain. So this is something that I would highly recommend if people are interested in trying to create their own reality and what they actually want in their future that maybe they don't exactly have right now. This is a great book to start with. She has another book called E Cubed. I have to say I prefer this book more than E cubed, but start with this one. This is a great one. The other book that someone recommended to me, which yet again I've read a couple of times, and it's something I need to go back to, but it's all about quieting your mind and quieting your brain and actually finding your real self and the voice of your real self. So he's a man named Michael Singer, and you can find him on YouTube. You can Google him. He's quite profound in terms of his experience with meditation, things that he has created. He's created communities and retreats, but yet he was also running a multi-million-dollar corporation at the same time in software. But he says that he actually wouldn't have been able to create what he created unless he had quieted his mind. And he was originally a law student, and the story starts out by saying that he had gone out, I think, fishing or with a group of people, and he walked off and he just sat in a field and closed his eyes, and he had asked himself a question, and he'd always been wondering, who is that little voice that comes into my head? What are they actually saying? And where does that come from? So this brought him on a quest of trying to understand what that little voice was in our head. And sometimes that voice has different intonations, and sometimes it's the true spirit, and sometimes it's actually your conscious mind. So the book is called The Untethered Soul. It's quite a book in terms of, I found it very interesting to read. And if you're interested in more of the spiritual side, but also around how you can quiet your brain, how you can connect deeper to yourself, and actually how that may transform certain situations in your life or your understanding of certain things. I do find this to be a fantastic book. So it's called The Untethered Soul. It's by Michael Singer. I've read it twice already. I'm probably going to read it a third time. But these are books around life and what we want to create in it. And I just wanted to come on tonight and just mention these, because I think if anyone has any interest in reading these, it's a holiday weekend, both in England and in the US. But if anyone is interested, I have plenty of other books I'm going to be talking about too. But these are fab. These are really great. And I think one of the hard parts that we all have, and if anyone can relate to this, it's keep quieting our mind. Because when we quiet our mind, then actually that's when we get some inspiration. And that's where the true answers actually come in. So allowing ourselves to quiet our mind, which is where this comes in, also allows us to visualize and dream and see very clearly what we want our reality to be, which is where this one comes in. So it's kind of a fun experiment. So that's all I'm here to talk about tonight. I just wanted to actually mention these two. I find them to be fabulous books. Can't get my son to read this because he's too interested in football right now, soccer. For those of you in the U.S., the World Cup is starting soon, so asking him to read a book that is fun and experiments and stories and easy to read that isn't football or soccer isn't really working right now. So that's fine. I'm just going to cut my losses. But anyway, wishing everyone a fantastic holiday weekend, no matter where you are. I hope you have sunshine. I hope you have happy, fun times with your family. And I will see you probably next week, early next week. So have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.